everybody, it's Ade here from Agile TV, and today we're going to be discussing the first value of the Agile Manifesto, which says that valuing individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you think back to the earlier days of the waterfall projects, which obviously is still in existence today, what tends to happen? Well, you get a number of people who get together, write down the requirements as they understand them to be, put them into a documentation that becomes like the Holy Bible, the document for that project. And that's then handed over to the developers who go away, read it, understand it in their own way, interpret it, and then provide the development. It goes over to testing and maybe a little bit of back and forth with the developers in regards to kind of fixing that part. But for most part, that's now handed over to the customer to say, well, here you go. This is what you wanted as laid out in this documentation. And here's the end project which matches that. And what do we find tends to happen at that stage? The customer tends to look at it and at best they will say, yeah, you've delivered exactly what we asked for and what was documented. However, our needs have changed. Or if you've been on projects, some of the projects, early projects that I was on, they might even turn around and say, well, actually, that's not what we meant. We didn't really want, that's not what we want. So what you delivered to us, maybe what you've documented, but that's not really what we wanted. You haven't documented what we wanted. And that's where kind of the agile approach of valuing individuals and interactions over process and tools becomes very important, because here's the thing. Process and tools don't deliver projects. People do. And as we know, we live in a fast-changing world. And right about now, it's as is the customer's right. They have the right to change what they want. If you've been on many projects like myself, you'll know that as we go along through the project, we develop a greater understanding. And it's also through the discussions that we have with the various parties involved, including the customer, consistently throughout the project, that we get a better understanding of the requirements. Hey, let's face it, sometimes the customer doesn't even know what they want. My partner sometimes asks me what I want to eat at night, and I'm like, I'm not sure. You know, I can be indecisive about what I'm going to eat. I don't know what I want. And then she makes me something lovely, and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you, babes. So that's just human nature. But it's through the discussions, it's through working together that you kind of can work out roughly what is required. And that's where it becomes very important to have the interactions and to also value the individuals who are involved in the projects. There's no point in us seeing it as just a handoff process that, okay, here's a document, you go away and work with that. Because as we know, there can be much ambiguity inside a document. So for example, imagine I documented this, a man eating tiger. What does that mean? Well, you could interpret it as a tiger that eats a man, or you could also interpret it as a man sitting down who's eating a tiger. But the only way you're actually going to be able to clear the ambiguity around something like that will be to have that conversation with me. And that's the same in software development. There's much ambiguity in documentation. It's only through the discussions and interactions that we're able to make clear exactly what it is that we want, to be explore that a little bit more, and to decide even if that's the right solution or the right outcome that we actually want to create. Because remember, what we're doing with Agile projects is creating valuable software. It's not about delivering software, it's about delivering valuable software. Something that's going to be of value to the end user. And as we know, values change. The market's changing, business requirements are changing, understandings are changing. So therefore, we've got to make sure that we're in line with that in order to deliver value. And here's also the great thing about taking it from that point of view as well. You know, as we said before in life, we have to interact with people. I'm sure you've interacted with many people today. I know I've interacted with loads of people, and throughout the rest of my day, I'm going to have to interact with a lot more people. Now that interaction could be happening via Facebook, it could be happening via emails, it could be your BlackBerry. Blackberries are great, you know. Sometimes you see people walking down the street and they're not paying any attention, they're just on their BlackBerry. But regardless in which way, we're always communicating. Now from that point of view, doesn't it make sense for us to be able to develop the skills, the social skills that are going to enable us to interact and communicate with other people in a better way? Because once again, we see how the skills that we're talking about in Agile, i.e. from a project delivery perspective or in terms of delivering valuable software, are also something that we can transfer into our personal lives. We have to interact with our partners, if we have any, parents, which we all have, you know, maybe our children, maybe the person down at the shop, maybe the person on the train. It could be, there's so many different points that we're going to have to interact. And through going through that process of actually moving away from just documenting it and, you know what, I don't need to talk it to anybody, we learn skills. We learn leadership skills, we learn conflict resolution skills, we learn so many different skills that help us and are going to add value to us in all aspects of our life. Now, just in closing, just to add so that there's no confusion and ambiguity around what we're saying here, is that, of course, processes and tools are important. But if we look at it from another point of view, in order for a process to work, you need the people behind it to make it work. It's the individuals are going to make a process work. If it's not an automated process, which even then you could argue, even if it's automated, somebody had to design it in the first place to make it automated. But if it's not running automatically, you're going to need the people to make it work. So from that point of view, we start looking at and valuing the individuals involved and look at how do we interact, you know, how do we create interactions and communicate with each other so that we can create better understandings and better outcomes. Then obviously that's going to, in regards to our projects, give us better outcomes, help us to achieve our objectives and be able to deliver more value to our customers. Adi Shakoya, Agile TV, see you soon. Oh yeah, by the way, underneath this video, you'll see the comment section. Feel free to leave your comments. It's all about interaction. It's about individuals. It's about us communicating. So, like I said, underneath, just leave your comments and I'll respond to as many of them, all of them, when I get around to it. So, take care.